One time, my family, we got in a car accident when I was a little kid. My dad ripped the steering wheel out of the column.
Why?
Like in the crash, he just like because he held on and ripped it out. That's the stock that I come from. I'll be all right.
Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. Jokes in the gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.
Oh shoot, I didn't have my headphones in. Let's see if I can put them in now, if that helps at all. I wonder if it's gonna... It's probably not. How about... Do I hear myself the same? Is this on? I hope it's on. What's up, everybody? It's Rudy. It's your boy Rudy here at Jokes and the Gym with Rudy Tyburczy. I'm stoked about this week's episode. I had so much fun making it and listening to it. It's with my good friend Luke Miller, formerly of Eugene and now of Portland. He's up there now. When we recorded this, he was about to move, and since then, he has moved. I've helped him move. He's dropped out of a show he was on with me, and that's kind of how it goes sometimes. That's part of the game. But it's the Oregon Country Fair this week. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited about it, and I also feel like I have so much work left to do. I've been working on it for months. I've been getting people. I've been thinking about challenges. The shows I do with Oregon Country Fair are a labor of love involving so many fun people. It's a comedy show, but I call it like a comedy game show. This year it's titled Fairly Legal, and it's a little dirtier than I intended it to be, but it's a stand-up comedy game show where we have chats with our comedians as they come up. We talk with them about their fair experience and stuff like that, and then we have them do their sets, but we have challenges for them. So, like, Happy Hecklers was a challenge. So people could shout out positive affirmations or wall of hugs. People could line up and give our comedian a big hug as they're performing. So it's just a way to kind of capture the nature of fair, the fun-loving, unexpected joy that you find at something like Oregon Country Fair. And if you don't know what Oregon Country Fair is, oh my gosh, it's like a festival in the woods in Veneta in the summer in Oregon with a bunch of hippies that are just like neurodivergent fairies loving life in the woods, selling the most delicious foods and wonderful wares. There's shows and music and spoken word all weekend long. I met friggin' Reggie Watts last year, and he's back this year as an actual performer, not just somebody who would surprise people with a 2 a.m. performance on the Path. So he's got an actual main stage show this week. I'm super excited to check it out and hopefully link up with Reggie again. I'm super stoked. And next week, I think I'm just going to do an episode where I recap my experiences of fair. Because last year I wanted to do something like that and I never got to. So I'm going to do that next week. So be prepared for that. I will see if I have a guest or not. It might just be me chatting for an hour about experiences. And I'm excited about that too. So I am pumped for this week. I also have to work every day leading up to it. And it's going to be like in the 90s this whole week until the weekend where it'll be in the 80s at fair, which I'm really excited about because I don't want to just be a puddle of mush all weekend. When it's so hot, my body just turns into mush. I'm like a sack of oatmeal, cold oatmeal that's already been cooked but was cooked yesterday. Anyways, do I have peanut butter in my face? I might. So I'm excited for the week, but I'm a little anxious, a little nervous. There's still lots of stuff to do, and yeah, it's been an interesting time. I've been watching My Mom's House and Cats all the last 10 days, and she's returning, so that's good too. So that's a little less on my plate as I prepare for this other stuff, because it's all about finding balance for me. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do, is find ways to be more balanced, and with comedy and working out and work and family and cats and food and health and so many different things. It takes a lot of time to do all the things that I want to do, you know? And so I'm just trying to figure that out. That's still what I'm trying to do, and get my feet under me, continue to take steps forward, progress, not perfection, a little bit every day, not be so hard on myself if I can't get a full workout in, or go to the gym, or if I can't make it to a mic. Like, I'm trying not to be mad at myself, but also I try to be thankful for the opportunities that I do have. I got to do a couple of really fun shows at the club this weekend, the comedy club. It was a blast. And I have I'm hosting for Uncle Laser on Wednesday, which should be a blast too. So I'm excited for the week, and I'm kind of like needing to remind myself to take some breaths here and there, needing to remind myself to do what's good for me and take care of certain things. So sometimes that's hard, but that's okay. That's the journey, right? That's the journey we're on. We're on a journey. Yay! Oh man, yesterday at work, one of the members, he's such a good guy. He's super nice. He's in there always chatting it up. From the first day we met, he was just the big smile, older guy, business owner, real friendly kind of man. And yesterday he was just so polite, not like polite, but like just a friend. He felt like an uncle, and he was like asking me about my life and stuff like that, and like kind of suggesting asking about my personal life and stuff like that, kind of suggesting I find a lady and that kind of thing. So he was very flattering and complimentary. And so sometimes like that stuff, it makes a difference, It's like, oh, this guy, he sees me working hard, both in the gym as a worker outer and as an employee, and he's like, oh, Rudy does his thing, and he made sure to share that with me, and I really appreciated that. And so I try to do that kind of stuff too. If I see people that are just doing a good job with whatever it is, I try to let them know, call them out a little bit in a positive way, and share that joy and show them that I acknowledge them. And I think that if we did that a little bit more, we'd have a bit more joy flowing around. And that's just what I want to do. I want to spread a little more joy. You know what I'm saying? Joy, joy, joy. And yeah, this week we're going to fair this week. This week, the fake sponsor of Jokes in the Gym is Bob's Balancing Boards. Remember Bob's buoyancy balls? Well, he's also got balancing boards. You want to be buoyant? Get the buoyancy balls. You want to be balanced? Get the balancing boards. Bob's, he'll balance you out. And with that, we're going to get to the convo with my good friend Luke. I had a blast talking with him. I had a blast listening to it. I hope you do too. He's a delight. He's a gem. He's a good guy. And I hope you enjoy our conversation. Give it up for Luke Miller.
Welcome, one and all. Thanks, everybody, for showing up to the pod today. Jokes and the Gym with your boy, Rudy Tyburczy. I'm stoked to be here today with my friend. He's hilarious. He's one of the funniest guys I freaking know. He's doing comedy. He's moving. He's leaving Eugene for the greener pastures of Portland. He's got a podcast with his fellow Portland brother, Tyler Jones, called Burnouts at Both Ends. Please give it up for my good friend, Luke Miller. Bow, 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 bow. Hey, Luke,
Very
what's
important.
up?
I'm feeling very important. I'm feeling very.
Yeah.
I feel like my blood's a little thicker lately.
Oh,
a little bluer. I have more oxygen.
Yeah, it's goopier.
Yeah.
Yeah, more just juicy, grabby blood.
Yeah, a little more American.
Yeah, what does that? What do you think it is that's deepening the blood?
I think it's the proximity to the 4th of July, the proximity to Juneteenth, and the sharpness of my goatee.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Americans, when they're sharp goatees, that's really important.
Yeah, the sharper a goatee, the more patriotic you are.
I think so. I think that's true for two countries. It's the United States and Bolivia. It was Bolivia. Yeah, the other one's Bolivia.
Yeah, I was going to say Bolivia. Even Jakarta.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
The capital of Indonesia, Jakarta.
Yeah.
They're known for their pointy, renowned goatees.
Yeah. Well, Jakarta as a city-state is just powerful, and I heard it reeks and that's why they have the goatees, is because they fill their
Dude.
goatee with fragrance.
Dude, I don't doubt it. I lived in Seoul for a long time,
Yeah.
and the smell of hot garbage on
Yeah.
a huge Asian city street is ubiquitous in the summer. It's a
Mhm.
lot. It's all over the place, and you're like, oh, I'm just walking down there. It's like, oh, we're ripe now. We're into the season of hot trash.
Dude, I am moving to Portland, and I fear the hot trash smell, the piss and the hot trash smell that you get in the city. It's there.
Oh yeah, it takes its toll on the old nostrils. Are you a good smeller? I feel like your senses are like they take over for each other. I feel like you're a man who's on his toes, and so when one sense is down, the rest of them are on alert.
Yeah, I'm deaf in one ear. I'm hard of hearing, and I don't see very well. So that kind of leaves touch, smell, and taste to be
that
to
makes
be fired.
sense.
Yeah. I'm fat as hell. I always smell good, and I'm always stimming.
You're always touching something or other.
Yeah, exactly.
You're whittling. You're quite literally whittling pretty regularly.
Yeah. I am a whittler. I've got this little guy right here. I've been touching him. It's a little capybara. Like I'm touching everything I see. There's
you carry knives. You're full of knives.
Yeah, if I normally have a knife on in my hand. I went to dap up one of the people at the club yesterday at Olson Run Comedy Club, and I didn't realize that I still had my knife in my hand, and I went to high five him, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, hold on, let's put that away." I just had it out.
Just some pre-show stitches. Let's get you stitched up before
Yeah,
the show, everybody.
It would have gone through the palm of his hand. It would have been unbelievable.
You just murdered our headliner.
Yeah, he's done.
But it's gone. His hand's gone. He's died from it. He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are one of the few people I feel safer with when you are armed.
Yeah. I feel that's what I care about. Is I want to make everybody feel safe.
Yes, and we do that with weapons.
Yeah, and I want there to be moments where they don't feel safe. I want there to be I want to polarize you for a moment of whoa, and then everything's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of on the razor's edge. I think if someone didn't know you, they would be much more alarmed.
Yeah, well, I'm a bad guy, so the razor's edge is one of my moves. I
was like, "How are you a bad guy?" And then you made a razor's edge joke.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. It's a great crucifix power bomb, so they say.
Yeah, it was. Have you ever done one? Did you ever watch wrestling and then wrestle your buddies? Because that was my entire childhood.
Yeah, trampoline stuff. I did a lot of trampoline stuff. Yeah, and I could do a pedigree pretty well. I did a pretty mean pedigree.
Okay.
Of course, the power bomb, like the conventional Batista bomb with the knee lift, and you throw them in, because that's kind of the beginning of a pedigree too. So I always mastered that head in between the legs, and then I was always strong enough to lift my smaller friends, with a gut wrench up into the air above my head, and then either a sit out or a stand up. But I never quite could do the crucifix power bomb, the military press, and then.
I mean, the military press version takes a lot of shoulder strength. You have to be able to move some poundage big time. But I mean, doing a power bomb, that feels good. That feels good in your loins.
Yeah, that's core strength, really. It's like core and back.
Core and back, everything. Yeah. It's
your legs,
do a power bomb. Do a power bomb to someone and see do 20 power bombs in a row.
Yeah, true.
That would be fun. I would. Yeah. I'd sign up for that class. Yeah. I guess that's Oregon Pro Wrestling, right? That's what they do there.
Yeah, there's a rumor that I'm going to be joining the Oregon Pro Wrestling School up in Portland when I move there. Yeah, there's a rumor.
Ooh, that is an interesting rumor, and it seems like it would make a little sense. Is that potentially a reason, one of several reasons that might draw one Luke Miller northward?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, the ability to train in something that I love so much. It's not like I think I'm going to be in the WWE. But I think I can wrestle a few local matches, maybe manage a few brothers.
Do a heel turn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Be a bad guy. Yeah. Be the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd love to see you out there. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited about these rumors that are now popping up. Because you're a lifelong wrestlehead.
Yeah, I mean, like real life amateur wrestling. I wrestled my whole life, and did judo, and I understand the body a little bit. Like I understand how you should hold. I know how to fall and
How to
little
hold a
things like
woman.
that. Yeah, I know how to hold a woman. I know how to keep her from falling down. Yeah, I just kind of I know how to be gentle. I know how to play soft.
Do animals come to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
this. What kind of animal interactions do you have? Any kind that like just pop up on your lap, or you're like, oh yes, of course now there's a horse here.
Yes, I will. Normally, horses will come and sit on my lap. Donkeys, mules. I had a zebra once.
Perfect. Yes, of course you did.
No, like I'm always the person where somebody will be like, "Oh, this cat never talks to anybody, never lets anybody pet him," and I'm petting them or the dog. Yeah, I've
totally.
yeah.
I love that feeling when someone's like, "Oh, that dog is an asshole," and you're like, "We're friends after 20 seconds."
Yeah, I'll be best friends with the meanest dog. I have a joke where I talk about like you always like there's an equivalent to like a woman asking you to watch her drink at a bar as a cat like walking up to you and petting itself on you for the first time. Like you've been identified as like a safe, cool guy, and you're not going to do anything to him. And
I love that. I feel like that's very I mean, lots of people make similar idea about like, if you know how to pet a cat, you know how to please a woman. Or at least I've heard ladies say that in my life, not necessarily on stage. And
it's all pussy.
It's all pussy, baby.
Yeah.
I don't say pussy a lot. Do you?
I don't use it for the vagina. But I think that's disgusting. Yeah, it's all anatomical with me with the vagina. It's all very clinical. But
nice labia. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, labia majora, menorah. What are we doing? Celebrating Hanukkah here? Like, what's going on?
There's 8 of these things in here.
8 crazy nights. I'm Adam Sandler.
Yeah. I'm all for anatomically correct dirty talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show me those. I don't even want to go there because now I feel dirty when I say anything next. What's next? Show me those what?
I'll say tits. I'll say tits. Okay, I will say tits.
You will say tits in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Tits.
Nice tits. Rockin' tits. I'll say pear. I'll say hefty breast. Yeah.
I bet your girlfriend loves this.
I'm not a talker. I'm not a sexual talker. I'm pretty silent. One would call me stoic.
You're a stoic lover?
Yeah.
A stoic lover. I mean, I like to communicate, but it's all nonverbal, man.
Yeah.
You got to read the room. The one person in the room you're with, if you can't do that, you probably shouldn't be a comedian.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, no, normally it's like I communicate very similar to Coco the gorilla.
Yes.
I just kind of like pat and point, and I do this a lot.
Squeezing milk cartons.
Yeah. She's Robin Williams. I'm Coco the gorilla. That's normally,
how it goes down. I like this. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Was that a thank you? No. Sure. Yeah. Well, you and I were both at the club you mentioned last night. We both did a couple of sets at the Ian Fidance show. We had some guesties. How'd yours go?
I felt pretty good about it. I felt strong. I went up furious. I got myself real worked up. I got mad about something. I'm off the booze a little bit.
A little bit off? What does that mean?
It's like I'm not going full gork if I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like
have
I'm
one
trying
or two here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the problem in the past with me in the club, well, I've never had a problem with the club. All my sets have been pretty okay. I've never really had like a real bad one. But if there used to be unlimited drinks, because there was miscommunication between the staff and ownership. So I was really putting them back. I was having, too many.
Little too much fun.
Yeah.
Too much fun. What's that mean?
Yeah, I'm certainly I'm such a comic in the sense that if it's not nailed down, I'm going to take it.
Something there, it's in your hands. You're tactile. You got to feel it out. You got to put it in your mouth. You literally, I saw you put a rock in your mouth last night.
Well, I was trying to show you how good it looks when it's wet.
That's a great point. It looked very good.
Yeah. You know, dry rocks are nothing, but a wet, damp rock, that's how you can really see what it is.
It's part of the earth now.
Yeah.
It's you're connected to the soil. You're like a man of the earth. Do you ever get your hands dirty?
Oh yeah, I get in there. I'm not afraid to dig.
Yeah.
I have like the perfect hands for digging potatoes out of the ground.
Your Idaho roots.
Well, filthy dirty Irishman too. I have potato digging hands. These are little shovels if you really think about it. And
you kind of look like a mole man of sorts.
I was about to say I'm the mole man. Yeah. Like I get in there, I'll dig with my hands, and I like to. There was one time I was in Eureka, California, and we went to this place called Agate Beach,
of course,
and it's all agates. The whole beach is agates. There's no sand, and I lost my fucking cool. I got out of control. I was like on my hands and knees digging with my hands, like trying to get to this like deposit of agates, and I took too much back. Yeah, I took my flannel shirt off and I laid it down and I just scooped handfuls of agates, and then I went back to our campsite and I threw the shirt, the bag, the hobo bag of rocks over my shoulder back to our campsite, and then I picked through them and found my favorites. And then I had to leave behind like way too many.
A lot of rocks. There's a lot of rocks that are sad they're not a part of your life anymore.
No. But I did give them to another campsite. I'm like, hey, pick through these. I hope people are still picking through them.
They very well might be. They're also probably just in the woods.
Yeah. Somebody hucked it.
I love it. I bet you're a good rock skipper. You skipping rocks?
I'm a pretty okay rock skipper. That's not really my skill. I'm a good rock seeker. I can find a good rock, but I'm not a skipper. You're
on the hunt, on the prowl for rocks more than skipping them.
Yeah, I think the most skips I've gotten is like maybe 10.
10. Oh, and then you just throw a casual, just a 10 skipper out there. Whatever.
That's nothing crazy. I mean, I've got some friends that are really good at skipping rocks. They're getting 15, 20 on a regular toss. 10 is like my max.
Okay. So 10's not that good.
In my opinion, and in the skipping that I've seen, I'm not very good at throwing. I can throw a football pretty well, but like baseball, I was never a baseball kid, so I don't like the mechanics of it. One time I tried to throw a baseball across my math class, and I knuckleballed it. Okay. And this is like 9th grade algebra. My teacher, Brandon Benedetti, he was the baseball coach, one of the baseball coaches, and he had a baseball, and I went to throw it to my buddy, and I'm not very good at throwing, and I shanked it, threw it straight down hit this girl, Courtney Brower, right in the middle of her forehead, gave her a big old goose egg.
Oh no, Courtney, sorry about that if you're listening.
I had a huge crush on you, Courtney, and I know I ruined it there.
Blew it. Oh man, did your just stomach sink when you nailed Courtney?
Oh man, I could have cried.
Oh man, that's brutal. Like if someone you have a crush on and you hit him in the face with a baseball.
Yeah, and I made the teacher swear. Like the teacher swore. He's like, "What the fuck, man?" Because it looked intentional and it was not.
Oh man, brutal.
Yeah.
What's the last sport you played? Were you at the basketball game?
I was, but I was post-op. I was still pretty post-op, so I was watching. I think talk. Oh yeah, we can talk ad nauseum about the getting the gallbladder removed. But the last sport I played was probably like a pickup basketball, maybe, or even like a kickball situation. Yeah, softball maybe.
One of these co-ed funsy games.
Yeah,
funning around, having a good time. So it probably wasn't a good time getting that gallbladder out. How'd that come about?
Not at all. So for some reason, I go to the emergency room every time I go to the Compass Hotel in Medford, Oregon.
Okay, yes, for whatever reason. Baby.
Yeah, it is. And I drink and I eat crazy every time I'm down there.
Yes,
and
you do.
2 years ago, when I went and featured for a comic that shall not be named, I got so drunk. I got really drunk and I gave myself pancreatitis.
Oh man,
like nasty pancreatitis.
I remember this. Yes,
alcohol-induced pancreatitis. I had been on the road for like 6, maybe 7 days. I want to say even. I think it was a full week on the road, and this guy was a real drinker, and we drank, and I gave myself pancreatitis, and that's connected to your gallbladder, but I didn't see it as a red flag. I just was like, whatever. I drank too much. That happens. Change your diet a little bit. Eat less. Drink less. Be better.
You'd have been what, 25, 26 at the time with that pancreatitis?
I want to say 26 with the pancreatitis, or maybe 26.
And then steel mentality.
Yeah, for sure. Like bounce back, you'll be fine. Like, and that's what the doctor said. Yeah, the doctor's like, you're gonna be all right. Like this isn't a big deal. Your lipase is high, but that's from the pancreatitis. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I went back to headline because I'm the king.
And you headlined there after I did, though. Just FYI, remember that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I do. I remember. Yeah,
you were at you came that weekend. The weekend I was there, it was
I was there. Yeah,
you love that Compass Hotel.
I do. I think it's the best hotel in Oregon.
Medford's Margaritaville, baby.
Well, I think it holds a special spot in my heart because I ended a tough week of being on the road there. So I was in like Motel 6s and like Travelers Inns and stuff, like Red Roof Inns, just like gnarly hotel rooms. And then I walk into this gorgeous, nice smelling hotel and they put you up for free. You don't have to pay money for the hotel room and it's pleasant. And like, I had a good experience.
Yeah.
But then the year that I went back, I got all hammered and I ate a pound of, cheese curds with Angie Bloomfield. We were bowling.
Heck yeah.
And
you were doing the show there.
Yeah, at the bowling alley. Yeah. That went over well.
Yeah. Didn't you say someone died?
A guy had like an AED issue or a pacemaker issue in the middle of Angie Bloomfield's set.
Oh my God.
His girlfriend stood up and was like, I need some assistance here. And like smack dab, like she was doing 20, it was at 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like right in the middle of her set. And so we had to take a 5-10 minute intermission to get this guy out the door. And he walked out. He was fine. It was okay. And then Angie brought it right back. It was perfect. She started singing Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin to bring the crowd back together. She just like went out and was like, ah! It was so good. So good. Angie's the best.
She is amazing.
So we, the following morning while we're driving home, I was telling my girlfriend and Angie, like, hey guys, I'm not feeling too hot. Yeah. Like I feel off. And both of them were, they're women. They have periods. They don't want to hear a man bitch about his fucking tummy problems. So they're like, get over it, you fat fuck. You ate all those fried cheese curds. You drank a bunch of beer. Like, what do you expect, you dipshit? And the following morning, I was in like pretty excruciating pain.
Oh,
I could tell like something was off. Yeah. Went to the ER. Doctor tells me like, you've got gallstones. They scanned my cat. They did all this stuff to me. They did all the tests, and she was like, you've got a pretty angry gallbladder right now. You've got gallstones. You're passing them. It's gonna hurt. Here's some pain meds. Here's some follow-up, like you're gonna have to go get this thing called a HIDA scan, where they give you radioactive material, and then you can't eat for 24 hours. They give you a radioactive material, and then they put a hormone inside of your body that activates the gallbladder to make it seem like your gallbladder is like trying to process food, like trying to create bile. Turns out my gallbladder's at like 26% function. Like I have chronic, like this is a chronic issue. And so not the fun kind of chronic. No.
Yeah. 27% doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah. And so this was like all over the span of a month. So I just was on a 0 fat diet, not even low fat, like 0 fat, like less than 2 grams of fat a day.
That seems hard to do.
Very hard, much harder than you would expect. And you expect it to be hard. But
so what are you eating?
Chicken
and rice
and rice and greens, beans, rice, applesauce, toast. Well, not beans, but rice, applesauce, toast. Okay. Typical brat diet.
Bread.
bread. Yeah, just keeping it really, really low fat.
Yeah.
And then I get the gallbladder out. The surgery was not fun for me at all.
Were you under?
Yeah, fully under. It's like it's a major surgery. You're getting
Right.
an organ taken out.
Right.
But I got 4 incisions, one big one on my left side, and your gallbladder's on your right side in your upper right quadrant. So what they do is they pull the gallbladder out all the way to your left side to take it out. But yeah, 4 incisions, one big one on the left, one over my belly button, and then 2 on the right. They blow you up full of air, chop it up, take it out. It turns out that this is like a genetic thing for me, the gallbladder. And I've been dealing with this issue since I was like 16, and I didn't even realize it.
What is that like? How?
Well, so my gallbladder, my liver grew around this thing called the pharyngeal cap, and it's the part where your gallbladder dumps bile into your upper intestine.
Okay.
And it was choking it out. My liver was choking out that little sphincter.
Yeah.
That little bile sphincter. And because everybody has gallstones, but I was pushing the gallstones through a really small hole, so it hurt really bad, and it was making me sick.
Yeah. Were you peeing things out?
No, you shit out gallstones.
Oh man.
Yeah. And so I just chalked it up as back pain because I lifted heavy weights at a young age. I just thought I'm gonna have residual back pain. I've got a gnarly separated shoulder injury. Like I have a couple of injuries in that general area, but the pain radiated to my spine, my back, my shoulders, and I just thought I had back pain. But no, it was my gallbladder the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time.
So if you were in discomfort or something like that, it was probably your gallbladder?
Yeah, yeah.
Did that put a bunch of things together for you when you found that out?
Oh yeah, I mean your shit schedule. I've discovered that I poop more and better nowadays.
Oh great.
Yeah, and it changed my diet forever. I'm gonna stay away. I stay away from fatty foods. It changed how I look at food in general.
Okay.
But I feel much better. I would recommend that if you have any gallbladder issues, get that thing taken out.
Let it go.
But the recovery was bad for me. The recovery made me realize that I have to lose weight because of how much I had to activate my core to move.
Right. I bet that was nightmare.
Painful, very, very painful. And so I had to, just I have a pretty high pain threshold. I wrestled my whole life, and, you break fingers and noses and, just little things your whole life. Right. And sports, you discover your pain threshold, and I've got a pretty high one. And I've had doctors even say your 7's like a 9, and you need to tell us it's a 9. Don't be stoic or whatever. And I'm not. I don't look at it as a sense of toughness. That's just what I feel.
That's what you would say. I get it. You're like my uncle who you worked with briefly. And he is a very similar guy, at the hospital. Mm-hmm. This is when tough guys have the worst time, is because you're so used to pain, hurt, not asking for help, that when you go in, it's probably 2 levels worse than you thought it was.
Yeah. And that's precisely what happened. And I kind of lived in a bit of denial about the gallbladder because it causes chest pain too. And being a fat man, you have that underlying we're not going to tell anybody about this, are we? We got to keep this one a secret. We don't want the world to know that you've got chest issues. But no, my heart's completely healthy. I'm perfectly healthy. The gallbladder was just the issue.
You're hardy stock. You have good stock, it feels like.
Yeah, I come from big people.
Yeah. So what are the changes you're making? What are you changing in your life, in your diet, and your habits?
I'm eating. Well, I'm starting my day with water more.
Good.
I'm big water. I have big water and little water, and those are little water is a glass. Big is one of these guys. I drink a milk jug first thing in the morning. I try to get as much water in me as possible.
That's what people say is the best thing to do is 2 cups of cold water first thing, on an empty stomach. And then I feel like I'm going to shit out my mouth sometimes.
Yeah, it feels bad sometimes. You got to force it. But I drink a lot of water. Obviously I don't eat a whole lot of fried foods.
But you did.
I've never been really a fried food guy.
Okay.
Meats
guy.
Meat, yeah, that was the thing. Like I'll eat a bunch of meat, which is fine if you're like properly doing it. But like my girlfriend had to like legit talk me down from entering into a rib eating competition this weekend.
Like post surgeries.
Yeah, post surgery. She was like, "Dude, you'll go to the fucking hospital, you idiot." I'm like, "No, I could win $250."
And then spend 12 times that much at the hospital.
Well, I would have pooped. I would have pooped for hours, and I didn't want that to happen because that's the thing with the gallbladder. If you do with no gallbladder and you eat something fatty, it goes through your body so fast.
I believe it.
Like 30 minutes.
Zipping through.
Like I've had meals where I've been sitting at the table still eating, and I stand up and be like, well, the next 45 minutes are going to be poop based.
You just have I like to think of a big pasta. You eat a big piece of pasta and you're pooping it out as you're eating it.
Yeah, no, I'm eating spaghetti and I'm pooping out ravioli.
Yeah.
I'm making a dish in my belly.
You're Chef Boyar Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun.
And you're a cook.
Yeah, I went to culinary school. I know how to cook properly, and I know how to like not cook like a piece of shit either.
Right.
Like I think that's like having a fundamental understanding of nutrition is something that should be taught in high school for people.
Totally.
Like knowing that like no, you can actually get most of your nutrients from like chicken and leafy greens
from
and
food,
like whole grains. Like you can do a lot of things. You don't need to take supplements if you just eat the food properly.
Focus on whole foods. People don't focus on whole foods. People don't even know what whole foods are. They just think it's a overpriced store. And it's like how you should eat.
Yeah, or the concept of like bioavailability. Maybe don't cook the living shit out of your broccoli so you destroyed all the fiber in it. Like maybe broccoli is supposed to be crunchy.
I like a crunchy. So is bioavailability the term that refers to the amount of nutrients available to digest in a food?
That's my understanding. I could be fundamentally wrong on that. Yeah. But like it's a matter of like upping the bioavailability of something like a broccoli. Like if you're eating spinach, maybe don't cook the shit out of it so it has fiber still in it.
Yeah.
Like you need that fiber. But yeah, I've been on like fiber supplements, and that's kind of the only supplemental stuff that I'll take nowadays. I don't need a whole lot of help with that anymore.
What does a day of eating look like for you these days? Is that feeling better?
Yeah, because of my job, I get fed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get free food.
I liked that job. That part of the job was nice.
Yeah.
Luke, you work at a place that I used to work at, helping college students with autism.
Yes, they are college students with autism, and they do need help.
Dude, I saw this guy outside of Slice downtown the other day. He was, had his shirts out, stickers, playing music, and his shirt said "Autism is lit." And I was like, fuck yeah, I got a sticker. I didn't get a shirt, but I was like, are you an autistic person? And he's like, yeah, man. And he like was selling these shirts, doing his thing. I was like, fuck yeah, autism is lit. Good for you, dude.
Yeah, autism is lit. I think our greatest people are autistic.
There's a lot of awesome ones out there.
Tell me that Michael Jordan isn't autistic.
The greatest athletes must be.
Yeah. If you are going to be that dedicated to a sport, you need to be a little neurodivergent. Like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, like if you are going Kobe Bryant, if you're going to be the best, like the very, very best, you got to be a little bit different.
I bet rappers have some autism as well, because to be able to think that fast and move your mouth like that and just stay on a track, so there's got to be some autism in the hip hop world as well.
Kanye's for sure neurodiverse
somewhere on there, And I know we make jokes about it and like talk with our comedian friends about our levels of scaleness. What do you know about yourself and how you might be on a scale, or how does that play into your like thought process or day to day, or I don't know?
Yeah, so I'm definitely a guy with autism. There's no way that's not at the very bare minimum. I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
But like there's certain things with me that are deeply, deeply like oh, this is autism.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll turn on just like WWE Best of on Peacock or whatever, and I'll mute it, and then I'll turn on 90s rap music.
Okay.
And I'll listen to the music and I'll watch the matches
I like
while
this.
I'm like whittling a stick or something.
Yeah, no, that seems like you'd be in an interesting basket.
Yeah, that's
whatever
pretty
it is.
neurodiverse.
Yeah, and you're just doing also, those are 3 things that you like.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, why not chuck them together?
Yeah, certainly not faulting these things. But I was never great in school. I was never, because I'm definitely ADHD, like at the bare minimum ADHD.
Yeah.
I think most comics are. I think like there's like
it.
part of the brain that makes jokes is also the same part of the brain that is ADHD.
Well, part of it is also that lack of a filter, and I realized that in my head I would often think, okay, what's the funniest thing I can say at this moment? Is what I'll think about, like, what's the most ridiculous thing I could say, and the fact that I say it a lot of the times means I don't have a filter, and that's a big, indicator of ADHD is lack of filters.
Yeah.
As far as I've read and understood from the research I've done in the past year or two since being told that I might have ADHD.
Yeah.
As a 39-year-old or 40-year-old.
Yeah. Wish you knew that when you were a sophomore in high school, don't you? Yeah.
Gosh, that would have been so nice. I've been a dickhead to myself for decades, and I think that's what would have helped had I known a little bit more about possible diagnoses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that shit with like the whole you can't get mad at a fish for not being able to ride a bicycle, like that's true. Like kids, there are just kids that are going to learn differently, and like I could never pay attention in class. I needed to stand up. Like if I had an IEP through high school, I would probably have a high school diploma for sure.
But instead you do not.
No, I dropped out. Well, I also dropped out. Like I was on track to graduate. One thing that I think that I'm truly the master of is knowing when the party's over. And I felt like I dropped out the final trimester of my senior year.
Oh wow.
I had a few friends. They weren't like super, super close friends, but I had a few friends pass away over Christmas break my senior year. And it's not like we were, I will never give the implication that we were super tight, but I had like other friends die and stuff. And I had just realized that the party was kind of over for me in high school. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like I can't do this small little Idaho town. I got to get out of here. So I got out of there. I went to culinary school in Coos Bay, and now I'm an Oregonian.
There you go. Yeah. Loud and proud, baby. I keep interrupting you left and right. I can't let you finish a thought. I'm sorry. Our ADHDs are tangled.
Yeah, you're the HD to my AD, buddy.
So you're making some dietary changes. Are you feeling better about it? Is that enhancing your mood, feeling, anything?
Totally. Yeah. We were talking about like day-to-day eating. So I'll wake up, hit the water, and then I won't eat for probably about 2 hours into my day. And then I'll normally have like some sort of like cereal, oatmeal, something of the sort. Non-dairy milk. If you're maybe lactose intolerant before a gallbladder surgery, you're definitely lactose intolerant after.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's gnarly. So yeah, non-dairy milk, probably an oat milk, a low-fat oat milk.
I'm on board with oat milks these days.
Planet
Oat, baby.
Oh yeah, Planet Oat, Oatly. I like Oatly, just because of the creaminess. But I'll probably hit, a little bit of frosted mini wheats.
Ooh, I love the frosted mini wheats. I haven't had those in ages. Those are good.
So good. Yeah, and
so good.
The stuff that we get at work, it's like half frosted, half not frosted. So you're not killing yourself with sugar, and so I'll hit that, and then I'll normally have lunch, which will be, they've kind of scaled down lunches lately, but I'll hit a nice, salad, like a nice big salad, good leafy greens, not romaine, fuck romaine. I'm anti-romaine. I don't think that shit's good for you. I don't think iceberg or romaine has any benefit to you.
There's some stuff in there.
Yeah. It's not as good as the sweet, sweet vitamin K that you're getting from a leafy green.
A leafy green, I get it. Yeah, but something's better than nothing.
Certainly, if I have the option between that and nothing, I'm gonna pick the romaine. But I'm a leafy green bad boy, a power greens mix. Give me
Yeah.
some raw kale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll eat that, spinach and all that, and a protein. Normally
Of
some
some
sort
sort.
of like, yeah, some kind of starchy thing, but it doesn't have to be bread. It can be like a
So you're eating
tortilla.
balanced meals multiple
Yeah.
times a day. You're
Yeah.
feeling more on top of it.
Yeah.
How are you working out? Are you exercise? Are you able to bring that movement and motion into your life again?
I'm walking again, like I'm out walking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just with my job, I'm awarded the opportunity to walk often at my
Yeah.
job. So I'm crushing blocks at work. I can walk to work. I haven't been lately because it's been a little weird in the mornings. My allergies been so bad, and
Mm-hmm.
I have asthma from the pollen count, so I
Oh.
can't really breathe. So like
Yeah.
working out gets scary quick. It gets unfun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
tough.
that's like new to me. I've never been like that.
Huh. Do you have an
Um,
inhaler?
yeah, I rip an inhaler,
Yeah.
um, and that's all fine. Like that, I carry it with me everywhere I go. Um,
I rarely see you use it. Does that come into play much?
every once in a blue moon,
Yeah.
like I hit it once before I went up last night because I could
Uh-huh.
feel a little bit of tightness in my chest, and I just, I'm a pretty physical comic, so
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be sucking air.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be I'm headed back to the gym soon. I'm just barely, like, within the last week kind of been
Mm.
fully cleared to lift more than 15 pounds.
Ah, okay.
So, and even then, like, I'm kind of pushing it. Like, I have to be careful of abdominal hernias because there's still
Mm-hmm.
small incisions in my abdomen.
Mm-hmm. So are you, it seems like you, now I may be wrong. Have you lost some weight already in this
Certainly, yeah,
process?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
That's,
certain.
do you have any goals?
Well, yeah. I want to lose as much as Ian Carmel lost.
Oh, okay. What did
Yeah,
he lose?
he lost 200 pounds.
You want to lose 200 pounds?
I want to lose like 150 to
Okay.
200. I don't think I have the muscle mass to lose a full 200. Because the smallest I've been as like within recent years is like at 219 because I'm sitting like 330, 340 right now.
Okay.
Like 219, and I was pretty lean. Like I wasn't super lean. Like I still
Yeah.
had like I'm just barrel chested. I'm broad bodied, big
You're,
shoulders, and
yeah. You don't like come across as someone who's necessarily like out of shape, or you're physical, you're active, you're moving,
yeah,
you're explosive, you're powerful.
yeah. I've always just been big. I've always
Mhm.
like my whole life. I wrestled and played football forever, as long as I can remember, and I've always just been big. I've always been the biggest kid on the team.
Mhm.
But could keep up. I was always in pretty good
Mm.
shape. Wrestling, funny enough, my cardio, like my conditioning, is what made me good at wrestling because
Mm.
I could go late into the periods, or I could even go into overtime. I could take you into the deep waters, as
Mhm.
Khabib Nurmagomedov would say. Yeah, because like,
I don't know who that is, but that
oh,
sounded impressive.
Khabib Nurmagomedov was he's a UFC fighter. He was like he beat Conor McGregor, and
Ooh.
Conor McGregor had like Conor was doing his kind of typical professional wrestling style, like, I'll knock the teeth out of his mouth, I'll kick his head off or whatever. And
Yeah.
Khabib, he's from Dagestan, and he's like, I will take him to the dark waters and show him that he cannot breathe. And like, just, and he did. I mean, he took
The
him
dark
down, and yeah,
waters.
the dark waters, like the concept of like in wrestling of like being somebody that will, no, I'm just going to constantly be pressuring you. Like those are
Yeah.
the best wrestlers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amateur
Okay.
wrestling.
And so you would take people to the dark waters.
That was my thing. I would hyper intense. I would play mind games. I was a cycle. I
Oh
was a
yeah.
I was better at the psychology of anything than I was
Uh,
at the sport. Even with
yeah.
like football, I was psychologically pretty active on the field.
I like
Um,
this.
High intensity. Ref blows the whistle. We're pushing off a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I'm not your buddy. There's no sportsmanship. Like I'll
Uh-huh.
step on your fucking neck.
Dude, I bet our face masks would have gotten tangled.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was famously going to get a 15-yard penalty every game. Like would guarantee I'm punching somebody. I'm give them a schmoz, a push to the face or whatever. I was
your title could be UnsportsmanLuke.
Yes, yeah, UnsportsmanLuke conduct. Yeah,
exactly.
I was I was pretty UnsportsmanLuke.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're still a passionate guy? Do you feel like that has changed over the years? Your passionate, your intensity, your ability to ratchet it.
I've softened a bit with I have a temper. I have a pretty bad temper, and I do a lot of like baby work with people. I like really have to remind myself that people were babies. Like that we all had our foot in our mouth at one point. Like I really have to remind myself like this was a baby one day. Like why are you mad at a baby? Like
but it's an adult now.
Yeah, it's an adult now, and yeah, sometimes babies can grow into fucking assholes.
They do a lot.
I work really hard. That like most of the time it's incompetence, not malice. Like if somebody wrongs you, they're not intentionally doing it. Like there's a lot of ego in anger that I've worked really hard on, like trying to dampen.
Right.
And it's hard, it takes time. I'll have that inner strife forever. Forever, as long as I live, I'm forever going to be dealing with this.
And that's what it is, though. That's good to know about yourself, is that this is something I have to pay attention. And I think that's something that I'm learning about myself as well. Again, with ADHD and emotional regulation, I have a huge way to let my emotions get the best of me. I don't know about get the best of me, but they take control, and I have to like exit the scene. I have to go somewhere else. I have to take
some space,
take some deep breaths, go for a walk, all that kind of stuff, because I just am blinded by whatever I'm feeling sometimes. And it's not as bad as it once was. Like when I was a kid, it's covered in tears and crying and all of this. But now it's just like, this is the point where I need to do some things.
Yeah.
Do you have regulation things that you do for yourself?
Totally. I've got mantras, breaths. I have to take like a deep breath sometimes. I can normally feel anger in my body pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll feel, because I have like a nose, like I have a specific nose. And so I can feel myself flare up a little bit. My eyes get real wide. Like I whenever I go into the bathroom, I make sure to check myself in the mirror, but my eyes get really wide, and I turn into a person where you can see the whites of it all. And that's not a safe, fun person to be around. If I'm pinned and my eyes are completely wide, like, ooh, that's not like a good look. And so, I take a lot of breaths. I'll count my fingers. If you ever see me pacing and counting my fingers, I'm regulating. It's stimming for sure. It's a stim. Yeah. But because I also used to use it as a mechanism for wrestling. Before my matches, I would find a block of 10 cinder blocks, because you're in a high school or a gym, right? So I would find 10 cinder blocks on the wall, and I would count to 100. I would walk back and forth and tap each cinder block as I walked by. And I knew I would be kind of mentally prepared by the time I hit 100, because I'm focused on counting the blocks. And so you've seen me pace, as long as you've known me, I've paced before I've gone up, and that mechanism has proven well for me.
Yeah, you were doing laps last night, going through the green room and the kitchen, just spouting randomness when you walk through and stomping along your King Koopa style, and then you just went up and crushed last night.
Yeah, I think I carry an energy of a hardcore band in the green room.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like having that energy, positive. It's not negative. It's energy.
Yeah, no, you're a great green room hang. You're you're fun. You know when to put the gas on, pump the brakes, and you know when to cede the stage or the speaking stick to whoever else is around. You do have a lot of capable skills. You're very agile and quick on your feet, both mentally and physically, figuratively and literally. It's fun to watch you kind of like get in the zone. I always appreciate somebody who's like purposeful and intentional, and that's something that you like carry, and I like to watch.
I'm a firm believer that like everyone should find a way to slip into their flow state. Like that's your superpower as somebody, like as a neurodiverse person, and I'm not speaking from like a for sure guarantee diagnoses or whatever, but the flow state adheres really well to the ADHD mind. That's why like the food service industry made a lot of sense for me, because you're guaranteed 5 hours of flow state a night. If you're doing dinner service, that's flow state. So
I never thought of it that way, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you are focused on getting food in the window, and that's your
task.
Yeah, that's what you're doing, and so I'm good at that. And so that's why I love the flow state.
That's so cool. So you're here. So you said you could be able to go back to lifting soon. You could do a bunch of walking now. Do you have something in mind? Like once you move to Portland next month, you're going to start in a bit more earnest, or once you get a job, or once your schedule's in place?
Job is lined up. Schedule is yet to be lined up. But once I figure that out, because I'm going to be in a house with a basement, I'm sourcing weights. I'm going on Craigslist right now, and I'm looking at weight sets.
I love it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to kind of clang and bang in the basement, lift weights.
Do some home stuff. I love it. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Like, I don't really like a gym.
Okay.
I don't like the culture of the gym does not afford for a gentleman like me.
I get it.
You get a lot of eyes, you get looked at a lot. There's like an element of like, fuck you, what are you doing here with fat people? And I don't mind having that chip on my shoulder. But it also pushes me past a point of health, because I'll push it too hard in the gym. Yeah. Like if I can see some like jacked dude is kind of giving me like the fuck you look. Oh, I see you're putting up some heavy weight. I'm gonna put 5 pounds up heavier. Yeah. And I'll do it. Like I'm strong, so I can do it. But then I harm myself. I push it too hard. Like I did one cycling class at Planet Fitness, and because I'm so competitive.
They have cycling classes?
They had when that Planet Fitness first opened. When I was going, I went to a cycling class. It was like a group cycle thing.
Oh, nice.
And this is pre-pandemic, and I had to win.
How do you win a cycling class?
That we were ranked. We were on, we were on like on a thing, like for how fast you're going and like how many minutes. And I took second. I had to push it, but my legs were wrecked.
Oh, I bet.
For days.
Cycling can do a real number on you.
Yeah, I was out of shape. I wasn't like in great shape, but I pushed myself like I was on the same shape as the person next to me, and I was not. Yeah. So I think to eliminate, like, because what I'll do is I'll go to the gym, I will work out too hard, and then I will be sore for a week plus, and the negative return of that will keep me from going to the gym again. Yeah, totally. Because I punish my body for doing something good for it. As opposed to keeping it light, doing cardio, hitting the bike, riding the bike for an hour and a half, lifting some weights. I'm like, no, I have to hip press 800 pounds. And like, like it's all ego. It's ego at its core, but I have to do it.
Leave your ego at the door, baby. That's the gym rule number one. Yeah. I get it though. I'm there with you in a lot of ways. I go so hard, and it's about trying to figure out how to calm the frick down. Yeah. It's hard when you're like in a thing. My flow state enters the gym quick, and I'm in it, and I'm ready to go. I'm a sweaty mess. I feel similarly to you, because my workouts are too weird for a traditional strength gym and too intense for a fitness center a lot of the times. But it's like I have to know how to be intense in a very confined space. You know what I mean? So it's like how do you do your lifts in a phone booth, essentially, and maybe not literally, but when I'm there, I'm definitely conscious of everyone around me because I'm sweating and I'm grunting or I'm jumping and I'm doing lunging and thrusting and all sorts of stuff in a way that not everybody is. So it's hard when you have those eyes on you. You know, I've been there, and so it sucks that so many people feel that way. When they come into a place, it's like, this is bullshit. I would love to see Luke at the gym. I'd love to work out with you sometime.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lunk alarm at Planet Fitness. There's an alarm that sounds for you because you work too hard, because you're clanging and banging, and really that's just to eliminate like that culture. But that culture is part of the gym. You're going to have people that are flexing in the mirror because that's also a workout, dipshits. Like they're flexing because they're working out. To hold a pose
part
for
of the
30
mind
seconds
muscle
is hard. That's a workout. Let them work out. Let them flex. Like, they worked hard for those muscles. They should be able to see what they look like in the mirror, and that's fine too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, you got to be accepting of all body types, of all kinds of lifters. And so, but I understand the challenges at a fitness center, at a gym, at a place, you know, I work at the Y. And so it's like, there's so many considerations that you don't even think about at a place where people go to work out. And so it's been really interesting to work at one, like at a busy, high traffic place. You know, I had to deal with an unhoused individual cussing at me and my coworkers at the end of the day, you know, minutes after I talked with the, you know, NFL player and stuff like this. So it's just like a crazy environment that you have to cater to so many different people. And I kind of love it. But I mean, we're comedians, so it's like, it's the same thing at a show.
Yeah.
It's like you have to deal with every swath of the American pie.
Yeah. It was funny. I was with Ian Finance last night getting a hot dog after the show. And he asked me, he's like, so you got knives. Like, what's the deal with that? Why are you carrying knives? Like, why are you, what's going on? I'm like, well, Eugene's actually like much more fucked than it presents. Like, I know you're from New York where like you guys like wear being fucked on your shoulders or on your chest with a badge of honor, but other cities can be fucked too. And he's like, well, I don't think it's that fucked. And then a guy comes into our frame and he's, you know, pretty conventional, you know, messed up clothes, looking pretty rough. But there was a perfect window where his pants had like fallen down below his ass. And there was like a cutout of the top of his shirt. So it was like a perfect little window of his ass crack.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fucked, dude. Like, I gotta walk to my car after this. Like, I'm gonna have my buck 110 on me. I'm gonna be ready to scrap with that guy if I need to.
I throw my hot dog at him and run.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a hot dog.
Oh, okay. You can't. Oh, yeah. You can't be having that fat these days.
Yeah, I stay off the dogs.
Stay off the dogs. Oh no. So, what's a late night snack for Luke? What'd you have when you went home?
I went home. I just went home and drank. Yeah. I drank a big water. I took 2 massive bong rips.
There you go.
And then I got in bed. I put my headphones in so I didn't wake my sweet, sweet baby. And I YouTubed most intense wrestling promos.
That's like your bedtime. That's your lullaby.
Well, it's just because I was thinking of Triple H talking to JR. It's like, you know how they call Triple H the game.
Oh yeah.
The music, it's time to play it's all about the game. And how
yeah.
So that came from a promo where he's talking to JR and JR is like, well, frankly, Triple H, I don't like the way you play the game. And Triple H stands up and says, I don't play the fucking game, JR. I am the fucking game. Ooh. And like, ooh, it's good stuff. Like I like that, like I like that energy of somebody who is just like, no, I'm like
him.
I'm him. I like chest pounding. Like, that's what I love about professional, or one of the things that I love about it is like kind of the chest pounding and like people saying it.
The showmanship.
Yeah.
The belief in oneself is incredible.
Yeah. Oh man, I love seeing an athlete win.
Just at the top of their game.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in the NBA Finals right now. I love the playoffs. The NBA playoffs are my favorite time of the year because it's the best athletes in the world going as hard as they can against each other, doing their absolute best. And there's just something so exciting about that. And when you see that little 6'1" fucking Austin Reeves white guy shoot a jumper in, whoever, and just like yell to the heavens, "I'm him," you're like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've been paying really close attention to this Caitlin Clark discourse because she's her. Like she's hitting threes from the fucking logo, and the league has a problem with it. Like she is head and shoulders above everyone she plays against, and I love the concept of somebody having the target on their back. Yeah, like it's not even underdog. It's having the target. It's like, fuck you. I'm here. You have to contend with me. Yeah,
she cannot hide.
Reese, you got to clothesline me. If I'm coming through the paint, you're gonna have to clothesline Caitlin Clark. You're gonna have to get a tech, like maybe get a flagrant, get thrown out. You have to do that. You have to be Charles Barkley to her Larry Bird.
Yeah,
like that is what the game calls for. You have to be that. There are angels and there are demons in basketball, and sometimes you've got to be the demon. You've got to be the bad guy. You have to be Draymond Green sometimes. And I love that. And sometimes you get to be Steph Curry. Sometimes you can just smash threes, be a nice guy, get frustrated when Draymond...
Flow state.
Yeah, exactly. But one day you're going to have to be Draymond Green. You got to lay somebody out. Yeah. And I love that about sports.
It's exciting. It's like it gets the blood pumping. It's such like I went to a playoff game, the Blazers against the Nuggets 4 years ago, quadruple overtime. Quadruple overtime in the Moda Center. That is the closest I have ever been to God. Is 20,000 screaming fans in quadruple overtime with the Blade. It's insane. You cannot fathom that feeling, essentially. Like trying to describe it, trying to recapture it in words or in mental form is impossible because you're just more than yourself. You've lost yourself and you're a part of this other thing. And so
you have become the entity.
You are part of the hive. And it's exciting and scary at the same time.
Everyone's in flow state in that moment. Like everyone has the same exact flow state. It's wild. I was in Vegas the first year that the Golden Knights, the hockey team, was a part of the league, and the Golden Knights made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs that year. They made it to the very end, and they lost in the final rounds. But I was in the arena. Well, I wasn't in the arena. I was in a bar right next to T-Mobile Arena. When they beat the LA Knights or the LA Kings. LA Knights, a wrestler. The Los Angeles or the Sacramento Kings. It was the Kings.
Basketball. Sacramento Kings basketball. LA Kings hockey.
Yeah.
Golden Knights.
Yeah, Golden Knights, whatever. Anyways,
hockey.
It was some hockey team. Yeah. And the electricity in this bar, because that was the year of the shooting. That was the year of the Las Vegas massacre. And so Vegas kind of needed a win, and Vegas is famous for not having a local culture. And they had something to rally behind, and there was just like tenable electricity in the room where you could feel like people kind of going like, I need this. And that the silence that would fall on people, because before the games, they would lay the number 52. They would lay, nobody will ever play as number 52 for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Because that's how many people died in the shooting. They retired that number before the team even started. But before the games, they would lay it in center ice, and they would have a moment of silence. And feeling that moment of silence with a large group of people, and then the electricity, like that like pop that happens when it's like, okay, now we're playing hockey. Now we're doing this. Like, goddamn, you can't get that from anything else.
Well, it's kind of like comedy.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when you know how to harness that intensity before a set, then that's the superpower of a comedian. When you know that your nerves are also good, when you can turn that switch from, oh my God, to, oh my God. Like when you get to go from being nervous to being pumped, that's the sweet spot. When if someone says your name and you're like, oh baby, and then you just get to jump on stage. oh, it's a beautiful feeling. There's nothing like it. You get to do it. And you crushed last night. And I've had, those moments when you get that first like wave of a giant pop from an audience and you're like, oh my God, this is what we live for.
We're cruising, aren't we? Yeah.
They're on board. We're playing. We're having fun. Now, and you were talking to me about this earlier before we got on the mic. You were saying about how sometimes you feel like you play too much as a comedian. What do you mean by that?
I think it's teetering on the edge of self-indulgence. I've found that I do things that only I find funny sometimes, and I've which is good. It's good that only you find it funny, because one day there will be 30 people in the crowd that also find that funny, and because you did that, you tapped into those 30 people, and they feel less alone because they know that there's somebody in the world with a microphone in their hand that finds that funny. So they're, that's how you build a fan base. But also been a little loose, been a little self-indulgent. Like even last night I was doing it, but I really loved it. Like it was kind of for me, and it elicited a little bit of a joke or a little bit of a laugh. But like I took a drink of my Fiji water and I went, Fiji water. And for some reason, like that just makes me chuckle. It's absurdist. Like that works for me.
It's so fun though to put those little things.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's like a couple words for yourself, you never know when maybe that'll be your get her done.
Yeah, but dude, I wish I had a get her done. I'd kill to have Larry the Cable Guy's shtick.
Recognizability.
Yeah. Dude, the blue collar comedy, I know I've waxed eclectically about them before, but man, those guys are. I love Ron White was the first, when you're a kid and you have like the line of, you have a bit that you repeat at recess from a stand-up comic. Ron White was mine. Like his, not tater salad. He's talking about sitting in a beanbag chair, naked eating Cheetos, and a televangelist comes on screen. And it's like a self-help kind of thing where he feels like he's being spoken to directly. Yeah. And that shit, it used to make me laugh so hard. Like, I don't think Foxworthy or Bill Engvall or Larry the Cable Guy, for that matter, particularly stand up or hold up by today's standards.
Yeah.
But like, imagine writing You Might Be a Redneck.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard. That's a hard joke to write.
I mean, is it? It's a formula. He created a formula and he nailed it. And then you can figure out a million different punchlines to it.
But not to keep it from getting old.
Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge. That it becomes hack almost immediately.
Like, I have no clue what his stand-up looks like now because he's still on the road. I'd be very interested to see if he does a You Might Be a Redneck joke, or it's probably one, but it's probably a really fucking good one.
Yeah. Or like in his closers, like his callback, if an audience has a curtain call kind of a thing, he's like, well, here's my 10 most recent or newest or whatever, because people would be like chanting for it, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure. Those guys were famous. Yeah. Those guys were mega stars.
And he's like still a TV host. He's on TV. He's in syndication. Fox with it. Oh my gosh. I wonder what his value is. Sorry to be crass, but it's like Foxworthy's net value's got to be 20, 50 mil.
Easily. Yeah. I mean, Larry the Cable Guy, like he owns that. He owns Larry the Cable Guy. Like that's so special. Yeah. And Ron White, I mean, Ron, he was a regionally successful headliner with a private jet before Blue Collar Comedy Tour. He was part of the Texas Outlaws. Okay. And he had a private jet. He was traveling the country, just like doing clubs. He was a functional working class club comic, class a little bit, private jet. But it was like the 80s, 80s and 90s. Like it's a little bit different. It's easier to get a private jet back in the day. And then
they were just giving them out.
Yeah. You got a white suit, you get a private jet.
Here you go.
But Ron White, he would do the, he was functionally their feature for these shows. Yeah. So when it came time for the first Blue Collar Comedy DVD, he only burned 20 minutes.
Okay.
He
That's
only burned
great.
20 minutes, so he capitalized on that and dropped Tater Salad, the special, like almost at the same time that the Blue Collar Comedy Tour hit. So not only could he tour with those guys and do the road with them and make big, big, big fuck you money, but he could also do the road himself and have his own show and make good money. And I think that's why Ron White has shown that he has the most longevity, because he was a comic first and foremost and stayed true to like stand up.
So it sounds like you have a great deal of respect for him in that regard.
Oh man, I love Ron White. I think he's one of the best businessmen in the industry.
Okay, nice. I love it.
Yeah.
So I feel like you are a risk taker. Do you feel like you're a risk taker?
Yeah, I think that's what makes me is like the lack of impulse control and like the ability to take the risk, take the jump.
What's a risk you would take versus a risk you wouldn't take?
In what this is pretty contextual.
I mean, it could be comedy related and or health related. Let's go with those two.
I don't wear a seatbelt if I know I'm not going to exceed 45 miles an hour.
Oh wow! I won't tell anybody that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just on the DL.
Yeah, this is between us.
Yeah, just you and me.
You, me, and the screen.
Yeah.
But I don't wear a seatbelt if my girlfriend hates it. But like the way I look at it, you're not throwing my big ass through the windshield at anything less than 45.
You don't think so? I bet you'd fly out at 42.
Nah, man. See, you're not factoring in the X factor. That's the thing. I'll hold myself. I'll be fine.
How does that even work? You can't hold yourself right now. You can't lift more than 15 pounds, bro.
I get in a car accident, I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm made to withstand car accidents.
Just a loose Luke flying out the window. You're not going to survive that.
There's no way I'm getting thrown out under 45.
You're going to get chucked. It's the centrifugal force of your 300-pound body.
Yeah, centrifugal force my ass, dude. I got it handled. I'll hold the steering wheel. One time, my family, we got in a car accident when I was a little kid. My dad ripped the steering wheel out of the column.
Why?
Like in the crash, he just because he held on and ripped it out. That's the stock that I come from. I'll be all right. I'll be fucking all right.
You're not going to be all right when you're flying through the windshield at 37.
One time, my buddy Remy Lampson, we got T-boned by a car going 35. My arm was hanging out the window. It missed me by that much. All I had to do, pull it away. I was fine.
You were fine. That's it.
I was like, oh, yep, missed me by that much, bitch. You can't fucking get me.
That was like the ultimate fuck you high five. It's like, oh, you want to get... Nope. Fucking crash.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't think X Factor is brought into play too often. And I think I have an X Factor that most this is all hyperbole, but like I've got the X Factor. I'm fine. I'll be all right. I trust in myself and the universe. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go, but I ain't going out from a fucking 35-mile-an-hour fender bender. I'll be all right.
You know what? I hope that's true, and somehow I believe it. I
know it to be true.
I feel like you could get stabbed well, even. I feel like you'd be fine with the shank.
Well, I'm fat as hell, so I'm made to stab. Like I'll be all right.
Yeah, you got the stabby padding.
Yeah. No, I've been stabbed before by a doctor. I'll do it again. I'm all right.
Right. No, I love it.
But like the risks that I've taken with my health in the past, like I heavily contemplated that rib eating competition. I've been in countless, beer chugging, liquor chugging competitions. One time you saw me do it, I found a pill on the ground and just took it.
How'd that turn out?
I was fine. I think it was an opiate of sorts. I was feeling a little loose.
I believe it. Yeah. That hasn't left you.
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're just goosing it. Oh my gosh.
The way I look at it, this mortal coil is barely real.
It's so not. It's crazy how not it is.
We are barely real. Like barely real.
How is this,
dude?
I'm just barely anything. I'm almost nothing. If you think about it, I'm almost nothing.
Yeah. What's 100 years to a million? What's a million to 300? Like we are nothing.
Dust in the wind, baby.
Yeah, the shit doesn't matter. And I have to remind myself that I'm like a monkey, like clinging to a rock hurtling through space. Like, this shit doesn't matter. We're all right.
Yeah. Or we're not, and then you die.
Or we're not, yeah. Whoops. Uh-oh.
But guess what? You get to feel it all. You get to feel the shittiest of the shit and the best of the best. You get to feel it all. Whether you're Scott Bezos, is that a guy? Or
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
He probably knows a Scott.
I'm sure he does, yeah.
How shitty would it be to have the last name Bezos?
Yeah, that would suck. Or like Zuckerberg.
Oh my gosh. Any relation?
Ugh, that would suck to be a Zuckerberg, like gnarly.
Oh man, I see some last names. I love names. I think names are amazing. Yeah. I saw a guy with the last name Rudy at my work. Whoa. I'm like, just Rudy is the last name? He's like, yeah, it's fucking Rudy. I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
All right. I loved you in the at Notre Dame.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Us. So how have you grown over the years? What is something you have stopped doing that you used to do in some way?
I think just like drugs and getting bombed all the time, like getting hammered. I don't drink like I used to. It's funny because, like, you know, I just go home after the show or the mic. I don't really hang out anymore. I stopped hanging out. And it's funny when the young comics, you know, I used to be the youngest person in the scene. I was 21 years old when I first started doing stand-up in Eugene. And it's just funny to watch these, I don't call them kids, but these young people, like, one, like, you don't know me. Like, I'll take you to the dark waters. Like, you think you can hang? Do you really think you can hang? Like, I will change the makeup of your body. Like, I don't know. It's funny. And, you know, I've gotten nicer over the years, of course. And all of that. But yeah, I quit getting bombed. I quit driving drunk.
Good. That's an important step. That's a huge step. Not so many people drive drunk.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like an absolute zero. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But it's more, it's not 50% of the time. Like, I used to have a playlist that I would drink and drive to.
Oh man, bummer.
Yeah.
But also, I bet that was a rockin' playlist.
Yeah, dude. Roll down the windows of the Scion. The Scion.
The Tiger Scion? Was that the Tiger one?
Yeah,
Tiger
the Lightning
Stripes?
Bolt Scion looked like a Raichu, the Pokemon. Yeah, roll down the windows, turn on Eric Clapton's Cocaine, and just drive out. Because I used to live out West 11th, so I'd be hammered. It'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd been, you know, snorting and sniffling all night, drinking, you know, 25-cent PBRs from Lucky's, and then I'd hop behind the wheel of that Cube.
Oh my gosh, that Cube with the stripes.
Yeah, and I'd just get after it, man.
Oh man.
Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Reckless abandon, Luke.
Yeah. So I quit all that stuff. I realized that, like, even though none of this matters, like, it still rules.
Yeah.
Like, even though it doesn't matter, it's still sick. Like, I get to look at a fucking flower and, like, see it. And you know, I'm awarded the grace to have a capable body. And I have control of my faculties, and I can go to the bathroom by myself, and I can put my shoes on by myself. I don't need any assistance. And that's, you know, that's an intangible. That's better than a lot. So I'm focused on, like, that, like, being able to do that for as long as possible.
Yeah, maintaining faculties, maintaining control, just focusing, appreciating what you have. It sounds like you're able to do that.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes with, like, the question of, and maybe it's the same thing, but it's like, what advice would you give younger Luke? What advice would you give your starting self, or what do you wish you knew back then?
People don't hate you as much as you think, man. Like, you aren't this, like, you're not your past. People don't see you and see your past, or, like, see see all these things that you see about yourself. And the fact that you think they do sucks. Like, it's an ego-driven thing to think that people have the ability to see all of your faults in one glance. Like, nobody can do that. Like, and nobody's talking about you.
Yeah.
And if they are, it's none of your goddamn business. Like, it's none of your business what people think about you or what they say about you. Like, words are, if our physical bodies are nothing, our words are even less. Like, it's just, if they're going to talk, let them talk. It has nothing to do with you. Their views on you don't matter. They belong to those people.
Yeah.
Like, would you care if, like, I would hate it if people found out what I really thought about them, you know? And it's none of my business to know what people really think about me.
Yeah. We get to have whatever thoughts we have.
Yeah. Those are our own. My thoughts are my own.
That's very wise of you. So would that have changed how you went about things, or would that have just given you a greater sense of peace?
Greater sense of peace. I think I would have given myself a little bit more grace if I had kept that in mind.
Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty common theme, is like people wishing that there were ways they could give themselves more grace.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, how about we go about our days in a way that we can figure that out?
Totally. Yeah, I think we all deserve grace. I think at its core, like, when, humanity deserves grace. We are messy and kind of stupid things. Like, humans are messy and we're so bad to one another, and like, it's like, give each other a little bit of grace. Cut everybody some fucking slack.
I love it. I think that's a great idea and a great way to kind of put a little bow on today's convo. Luke, if people want to see more of you or your comedy, what can they do?
Just give me a follow at Luke Miller Sucks anywhere. LukeMillerSucks.com. My Venmo is Luke Miller Sucks.
Love it.
That is my branding. I suck. And yeah, Luke Miller Sucks everything. You can find me there. I've got a website. My beautiful, wonderful, strong, intelligent girlfriend made me a website. She owns the IP address, or the URL. So if I do something bad, she will end my career, because she does have recordings.
She's got it all.
But yeah, Luke Miller Sucks. It's my everything. I'm easy to find.
Luke Miller sucks, y'all. Luke Miller also rocks.
Luke Miller rules.
Luke Miller rules. He's the king, everybody.
He is the king of Eugene forever.
This is what he says, even when he leaves. He's the king.
Yeah, I will not drop the crown.
Don't drop it.
No.
Don't put a seatbelt on it either, okay?
No, God, no.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Luke,
don't wear your seatbelt. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you take anything from this podcast, do not wear your seatbelt. They're stupid.
Luke Miller sucks. Booyah. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Jokes in the Gym. Luke Miller sucks. Jokes in the Gym. Jokes in the Gym. Not jokes in the gym. Jokes in the Gym. Jokes in the Gym. With Rudy Tyburczy.